How many of you would like to stay encouraged and inspired and see your desires manifest more quickly and completely? The secret to this is not what you would expect. One pattern I've seen in my own life is that I get really excited about achieving something and I immediately get into the strategy involved to bring the desire. Then I get bogged down in the complexity of executing tasks and I lose momentum. Months later, I find myself discouraged and no longer motivated. Have you noticed this pattern in your own life? It can be frustrating, demoralizing, or even make you hesitate before getting excited about the next thing or anything. The reason this happens is because of a state change that occurs in our bodies as we shift our focus from the spiritual to the material. Right now, my wife and I are growing our company to $10 million revenue per year. The desire itself is spiritual. It's connected to the lifestyle and influence we see for ourselves in this next season and the vision that we have for our children. When we first set the goal, we felt on fire. We could clearly see the desire. We could feel what it will be like. All the people will be able to help. I'm sure you have a desire that you're seeing that you felt the same way about. Unstoppable, passionate, fiery, motivated, energetic. But over time, the initial feelings gave way to something less optimal. It has been the same way for us. A few days can go by, sometimes weeks, and I realize that I'm no longer in that optimal state. I'm doing tasks that I've come up with that I need to do, but the passion is no longer there. The certainty has lifted. The motivation has waned. I've learned that this is a sign that I've moved out of the spiritual and into the material or flesh. In order to keep our bodies and minds in an optimal state, we must focus on the spiritual and then only take physical action that is inspired by the spiritual. All other physical action is depleting. The Apostle Paul said it like this: "For those who are in accord with the flesh set their mind on the things of the flesh, but those who are in accord with the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For the mind set on the flesh is death, but the mind set on the Spirit is life and peace, because the mind set on the flesh is hostile towards God." Focusing on spiritual activity produces a state that is full of life and peace, while focusing on physical activity produces the death of your desire. In this video, I'm proposing 5 simple disciplines. If you will work them into your daily and weekly time management routine, you'll find your mind set on the spiritual, operating at an optimal state, taking inspired action toward your desires. Well, here's the first one: to write and rewrite your desires. This is the most important and quickest way to keep yourself in optimal state. Dedicate a journal or doc or note in your computer for the purpose of writing your desires. Then search your heart by asking yourself, what do I want? Write down the little things you see. Write down the big things you see. Take time to go into as much detail as you possibly can for each desire. Imagine yourself experiencing the desire. Take in the sights, the smells, the feelings, the taste, the vibes as your desire takes shape in your mind, and write it all down. It's not unusual to fill up pages of paragraphs describing your desire. Now, don't worry about whether it's a desire for now or for later, whether it's a desire that will stay with you for a long time or is just temporary. And definitely don't worry about how it will happen or even when it will happen. Just see it and experience it in your imagination. And write down everything you see. You might choose a desire that you want to focus on for the next few days or weeks and commit yourself to rewrite about that desire every day or every few days. Start with a clean slate each time and write the desire each day from scratch, leaning only on what you see in your imagination, not even what you've written previously. Your desire may change over time, and that's okay. So keep your journal close to you and add details as they come to you throughout the day. Now, whenever you feel during the day like you're operating in a lower state, pull your journal out and read through what you've written concerning your desire. You may even read it aloud. As you do, you'll be transported in your imagination back into the place where your desire already exists. This is energy. There is energy and power in that place. Your body and mind will vibrate with that energy. Your body and mind will vibrate with that energy and you'll regain your optimal state. The Bible says in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 6, that you are seated with Jesus in heavenly places. Now, that's not a statement about your future. It's your current reality. When you enter the spirit realm through your imagination, you are seated in heavenly places. God is there with you. All the power of heaven is with you. Receive from heaven and be re-energized for your work on the earth. This even works if you have a desire about a specific event that's coming up. Say you're preparing to give a presentation at work or speak at a conference, or you have a difficult conversation with a family member. Don't go into it blind. Imagine the whole event beforehand. Your desires will show you exactly how it will go down. Write the whole event out exactly the way you see it in your imagination. Experience all the feelings. You'll be amazed at the insights that you will have. And when you get to the event, you'll be in an optimal state to realize your desire. That is why Paul also said, look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Here's the second discipline. Make declarations. The Bible reveals to us that God, in whose image we're all created, calleth those things that be not as though they were. Similarly, you have authority to speak your desires into existence, moving them from the immaterial world into the material world. The prep work is to convert what you've written down about each desire into a series of declarations, an order per se. Imagine you've just pulled up to the drive-thru of your favorite to-go restaurant. You look over the menu and things you want jump out at you. So you start constructing your order in your head. But before you place your order, you put it the most concise way possible so it's really clear what you want. And then you speak out your order. Now, when you've written out your desire, it's like the description of each item on the menu that you want. All the ingredients, all the language designed to make you crave that item. But your declarations will be the words you choose to communicate your order. Clear and concise, summaries that represent the full menu. The most powerful declarations often start with two words, I am. Because I am speaks to who you are becoming, bringing about the internal transformation necessary to see your desire come to pass. I am a seven-figure earner. I am influencing millions with my content. I am a billionaire philanthropist. I am a thriving artist. I am a loving and supportive spouse. Of course, there is another reason why I am is so powerful, because I am is the name that God gave for himself throughout the Bible. Yahweh means I am, that I am. So every time you declare I am, you invoke the most holy name of God and apply it to whatever you speak next. That's why the commandment was so strict, saying, do not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. In other words, be careful what you say after the words, I am. After you've completed writing some declarations, incorporate them into your daily routine. Say them aloud when you wake up in the morning or at night before you go to sleep. Say them on your daily walk or at the gym. Stack them onto one of your other habits. For instance, if you say a prayer before each meal, add some of your declarations to your prayer. As you speak them aloud, allow some of the feelings you experienced when you saw that desire in your imagination to come to the surface. Much the same as you might start salivating for the food you've just ordered. The discipline of making your declarations will serve to keep you in an optimal state for receiving your desire. Before you know it, you pull around the corner and your desire will be there waiting for you. Paul said that we have the same spirit of faith as he had who wrote in Scripture, I believed, therefore I spoke. We also believe, therefore we also speak. Now, the third discipline is this. Bring your attention to what God is already doing. One powerful way to stay in an optimal state for receiving your desire is to remember that it's not all on you to bring it about. There is a heaviness that comes with the belief that you must carry the full weight of your desire. But there is freedom and ease that comes from recalling that God, the one who put the desire within you, is also working to bring it about. You'll want to carve out time in your routine for reflecting on the work He is already doing. This can be an individual exercise or something you do routinely with others. Whether on your own or in a group, pose one or some of these questions to each other. Where is God already moving in this area of my desire? What good things are happening right now concerning my desire? Who is already in my network that may be a resources? What systems are already demonstrating success that I can model? Imagine if this became the focus of your team meetings at work, or the topic of discussion in your church small group, or just your personal daily meditation. As you reflect on what God is already doing, you'll be reminded that He carries the bulk of the burden for bringing about your desire. You'll release yourself from the hard yoke and stay in His divine flow of ease. Well, here's the fourth discipline. Take faith-filled action. You might reason that if only the mind set on spiritual things brings about life, or the optimal state, that all physical action would bring about a lower state. But there is a way to take action in the physical world that maintains the optimal state for bringing about your desire. When I had a job working for others, I felt the responsibility for keeping track of everything that was asked of me. Online task management systems didn't exist back then, so I carried around a notepad with me everywhere I went. When my boss or coworker mentioned a task that needed to be done, I jotted it down on my notepad. When I thought of anything that needed to be done, I'd also jot that down. Before long, my notepad was full of tasks. Overwhelmed, I'd sit down in my office or at a coffee shop and start making my way through the list. I'd look for the most urgent, important tasks and try to do those first. Then I'd look for important ones that weren't so urgent. As I finished the tasks, I'd cross them off. Oftentimes, one task would lead to another, so I'd scribble more subtasks on the page until the pages of my notebook were a big mess of tasks. My ritual became rewriting my remaining tasks over on the new clean sheets of paper and then tackling the lists each and every day, trying to cross off as many as I could. I'd feel good whenever I crossed off a task, but at the end of every day, I'd look at the remaining tasks and feel hopeless that I would ever get through them all. It particularly nagged me when tasks would sit on the list and get recopied for multiple days, sometimes weeks. It made me feel like a failure for not finishing my list. Well, when I started working for myself, I kept the same ritual. Every day copying tasks, writing new ones, crossing off as many as I could. Every day going to sleep feeling like I failed for not finishing my list. Until one day, I felt God speak to me during my prayer time. Harrison, I want you to throw that notepad in the trash. Now I thought surely He must be mistaken. God, if I throw away the notepad, how will I remember my tasks? How will I know what I'm supposed to do? But He continued to calmly put the idea in my head. Throw it away. So I did. It actually felt pretty amazing, like a huge weight was just lifted from me. Then in the same prayer time, God brought 3 little action items to my mind. He said, just do these 3 things today. So I did. I was done by lunch. And you know what? I felt like a winner. I had finished my list for the first time in a decade. And wouldn't you know that those 3 tasks brought about more progress in my business than anything I had done for 2 weeks prior. I ended that day early and in a better state than when I had started. So what I want you to see is one key to staying in an optimal state is to only work on tasks that are in divine alignment. Work inside of the context where God is already working. It will bring you energy instead of depleting your energy. Jesus was on a journey with His disciples once, and the Bible tells us that He was tired and He was hungry. So He sat down at a well while His disciples went in search of food. Well, while sitting there, a woman came to the well, and Jesus spoke to her in a way that really touched her heart. So much so that she went and told all the people in the village about Him. When His disciples came back with food, Jesus said He was no longer hungry. He told them, I have food to eat that you do not know about. My food is to do the will of Him who sent me and to accomplish His work. It'll be the same way for you. As you focus on tasks inside of where God is already moving and opening doors, those tasks will be life-giving to you. They will energize you. So make it a discipline After having reflected on where God is already moving to bring about your desire, to also ask, what action can I take in one of these areas that would prepare me to receive my desire? Make a list of 3 to 5 things that you can focus on each day that fit within the context of where God is already moving. Let those serve as your priorities for the day. If you do nothing else, make progress toward those things. And at the end of the day, feel His approval and the affirmation that you have completed your work. It's why Jesus lived like this. He said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of himself unless it is something he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, these things the Son also does in the same way." Now, here's the final discipline. Practice gratitude. Add the discipline of gratitude to your routine. Don't wait to feel happy before you rehearse the good things that are happening around you. Rather, reflect on the good things intentionally and find yourself radiating with joy. This may look like a gratitude journal that you write in before you sleep, or something that your family shares around the dinner table. You initiate the practice and the feelings will follow. If you add these simple disciplines to your time management routine, I believe and declare that you will maintain your optimal state, stay encouraged and inspired, and see your desires manifest more quickly and completely. Well, I hope this episode has been a benefit to you, and if so, make sure to like and subscribe so you get more videos just like this one that can help you in your success journey. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next episode. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You know, great businesses and great leaders are built using effective communication. For more, go to speakingschool.com, grab my Elite Business Success Toolkit for free just for trying out our Speaking School membership. That's speakingschool.com. See you next time.